Hey friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for stopping by today. I'm back with a new layout and process video for Hip Kit Club, and I'm using the 2019 August kits. And I have been wanting to use these black and white frames from Pretty Little Studio on a background, and I haven't done it yet. So that's what I'm going to do today. And before I even started filming, I was playing around with how I wanted to use them, and I think I'm going to do exactly like I have here. I've kind of created a vertical design just by overlapping and layering the squares, the rectangles, the circles, the ovals, and I'm going to kind of start on the left hand side. So I'm going to go ahead and glue all of these frames down before I do anything else, because if I move them, I'll never get them back exactly this way. So I'm going to glue those down and then trim off the edges, and then I'm going to basically kind of create my own pattern paper here. And I love to start with white. I haven't used white yet this month as a background. I've used pattern paper, so I was just itching to start from scratch and a white background and color it up and go from there. So I thought that these frames would make a good base. So I'm going to use white gesso and just scrape a lot of it over the frames as well as to the right of the frames. I'm not trying to cover them up. I'm just trying to soften up some of the harsh black lines. And you'll see here in a minute when it dries, it's still very visible. But it's also prepping the paper for lots of liquid. So you can still see there, it just softened it up a little bit and kind of made it a little bit faded. All right, so I'm using lots of Lindy's Stamp Gang products today. We get 3 Lindy's powders in the color kit this month, and then we've got tons of sprays and powders from previous months, the last several months, and so I'm going to kind of mix and match some different colors there. I mixed the very first color that I used is from this month's kit, and it's kind of it's a pink with a little tint of red to it. It's called Ramblin' Rose Pink, and then I mixed it with a darker pink that we got a couple months ago. This yellow color is from this month, and it's called Golden Sleigh Bells, and it's really, really pretty. It's yellow with some really fun gold shimmer to it. And you can see over there on the right hand side where I accidentally dripped some, I did not use gesso on that area, and you can see where it just kind of soaked through. If I would have put gesso there, I would have been able to just dab that up, but I didn't cover the whole right side with gesso, but it's okay. So my idea was to basically just kind of add some color on top of the frames and just kind of let the color run in and around all the edges of the frames. And just basically, how many times can I say basically? I don't know, is that the word of the day? I'm sorry I keep saying basically. I'll try to stop saying it. I just want lots of watercolor effects here with the frames kind of peeking through all of the color, and just create a base for my photos or my photo and everything else that I'm going to add to it. Now this blue spray we got a few months ago, it's very bold. It's pretty much what I would call a royal blue, and it's called Blue Hawaiian Blue. And then when it mixes with the pink, it's going to create this really pretty purple. This bold pink color we got the same time as the blue, and it's called Hibiscus Rose, and it is very dark, but it's gorgeous. And you can see how bold it is, but when it dries, it's very, very light, or it's lighter. And I think it's something to do with the gesso, because my past 3 layouts I've used gesso on pattern paper, and the colors have dried a lot lighter too. So I wanted to see if it would do the same on white, because I really want the colors to look like you see right here, very bold and very not dark, but just rich. But then when it dries, you can see here, it's still pretty. I love it, but it definitely did lighten up quite a bit, and that's okay, because it's gonna look fine. So here's my picture. It's an older picture of my little page. I've had it printed out for a while and just haven't scrapped it yet. So it's another fall photo. She's got a little Halloween shirt on there, but I took a bunch of them, so I didn't feel bad about printing this one in black and white, because I have more that I can print in color for future pages. So I'm just going to start with some layering, and I'm going to use some pattern papers. I'm going to use a pocket life card or 2, and just start to work on layering. And since I've got my background done, it's more of a vertical design. And now I'm going to go horizontal, where my photo is going to go kind of right there in between the blue, the pink, and the purple, and then kind of just go out to the right from there. And I'm going to use lots of the Truly Grateful collection by Paige Evans, lots of the florals. I'm going to use some more of the frames. I'm going to use that heart frame over to the right, kind of where you see it there. And then I'm going to use some more of those Pretty Little Studio clear stickers. And right here, I'm just kind of seeing what looks good where, playing around with some things, and seeing how I want to do this. If I want to continue to stretch the layout to the right, or leave some white space, or what. So I felt like I needed a little bit more separation where the photo is against the layers. I felt like it needed some pink, or more of a darker solid color, or a brighter solid color. So I just cut a couple of edges of a pink pattern paper that I've already used, and kind of tuck the strips there on to the side. And I'm going to go ahead and glue all that together, because I know that is pretty much going to be the way it is. Oh yeah, I'm also going to use some of the Pretty Little Studio packaging. I've already glued that down there, but it was, I don't know if you saw it, but it's that really pretty yellow and pink plaid. I think we get several bits of it because we get lots of the Pretty Little Studio, I think it's Indian Summer, that Kim Watson designed, and the packaging is gorgeous. So I saved all of that to use for layouts, and so I just used one piece of it there. You can kind of see it peeking around the edge there. And then I'm going to start to trim off some of these die cuts. I'm going to cut off the white border just so it doesn't separate itself so much from the background, and I also trimmed up that big die cut on the right also. Alright, so I added some adhesive foam behind my photo. That's going to raise the photo up a little bit off of the page and create some dimension. And then I'm going to come in, and instead of doing a lot of the gesso and mixed media work over on the right, I'm going to use one of those little watercolor clear stickers. And those are perfect for that because they give you the look of mixed media, but it's a sticker. And so that it doesn't get any cleaner than that. So if you're a mixed media fan, but you don't really want to do it, then you need to get these stickers because they instantly give you the mixed media watercolor splotches without doing any mixed media work. It's genius. I wish I had some bigger stickers like that that would fit a background, like a big gigantic size of it. Kim Watson, if you're listening, make those next time. I think that would be fun. So now I'm doing some more splatters here. I decided to go ahead and do some of that before I glued anything down. I'm using more of the blue. I'm using some of a lighter turquoise blue that we got a while back, a lighter pink. Yeah, and you can definitely see the difference when I splatter it on the left versus when I splatter it on the right. You can see there gesso versus no gesso. The no gesso side on the right is just soaks right through. And then over on the left, I can dab a little bit of it up and it's going to be a little bit lighter. So the gesso gives you some playing around time to where you can dab some of it up and it doesn't just soak right through the paper. All right, so now I'm going to add in my thread. So I'm going to use some blue, some hot pink, some yellow. I think that's, I pulled out purple, but I don't think I used the purple. And I'm just doing my favorite technique with the thread, and that's just kind of loop it up into a little tangled nest and then just kind of tuck it underneath the photo or the die cuts where you can kind of see it peeking out around the edges. And it just adds fun texture, it adds pops of color, it kind of adds to the whole whimsy of the messy background. And I know a lot of people love doing that, a lot of people don't. And either way is good. I'm a fan of the thread because I like making a mess, and you know, you know me, I'm not afraid to make a mess, and so the messier the better. All right, here comes the glue. I'm going to glue everything down at this point, and I'm using the Scotch tacky glue in my little very well loved, very dirty, very sticky, no more label fine liner bottle there. The reason it's so dirty is because I use my hands a lot. I'm always, touching the paint, touching the gesso, and then I instantly grab my bottle and start gluing. And so whatever's on my hands, it's going to get on the bottle. And that's why it looks like that. But that has been the best glue bottle ever. And I have had it for a long time. And I'm going to keep using it until it dies on me. But yeah, I get a lot of questions about the glue. I don't use the Aleene's tacky glue that's in that brownish bottle. That glue is too thick. And if you try to put that glue in that bottle, it's not going to come out. So your best bet is the Scotch tacky glue, in my experience. I'm sure some other people have used other things, but that's the glue that I've always had in this bottle and that I consistently fill it back up with, and it works great. Okay, now I'm just trying to decide what's my title going to be. I want to mix and match. I want to use one of these big epoxy word stickers from the Paige Evans Truly Grateful collection and kind of mix it and match it with some of those big block thickers, because I haven't used those yet, and they are awesome. They are the best colors, and they're foam, and that means they're going to stick really well. Foam thickers tend to stick very, very well as opposed to the chipboard ones. They tend to pop right off, so always got to use glue. All I'm doing here is just continuing to embellish with smaller things. I'm going to use that Life is Better with You piece from Pretty Little Studio, and then some of these little stickers from Truly Grateful, as well as some of these little epoxy dots. These look like little enamel dots, but they're on the epoxy sticker sheet, and they look like little splatters also. So I'm just going to kind of scatter some of those around the page here and there. And all the colors match, of course. I did add a little piece of adhesive foam behind the blue flower that I put on top of the heart just to raise it up, as well as that little tiny light yellow flower over to the right on that cluster. I decided to go with Sunshine Girl as my title. I've made so many layouts with the word sunshine on it, but I'm okay with that because that's one of the many nicknames for Paige is Sunshine. And I like the pop of yellow, and I love that font. I think those epoxy word thickers, oh, the font, that's my favorite. I'm just trying to flatten out my photo. It kept wanting to bow up a little bit because of my background, so I just put something heavy on it. And miraculously, I did not spill my water. Thank goodness. But so Sunshine Girl, pretty short and simple and sweet. Nothing too crazy, but I like the way it looks, kind of mix and match there. And then I did kind of add a little green down in that area since I didn't have any green. And I just cut a flower there so I could tuck it, make it look like it's kind of underneath the word girl. And then I'm almost done. I'm going to use my T-square ruler here to draw some lines. And then I'm going to use my black fine tip Sharpie to write my journaling. And then I do add the date with the date stamp underneath the journaling off camera, but that's the final layout. I did add a little bit more splatters, but I like the white space. I think it evens out with all of the dense background and embellishments. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was fun to make. I really had a good time getting messy with the frames and the gesso and the powders and the sprays. That's my favorite thing to do. So I love how all the colors kind of came together, and I like the vertical and horizontal design. I think it turned out okay. So let me know if you have any questions about the kits or any of the products or anything that I did that I might have forgotten to mention, and I'll be happy to answer you. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching.